Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today I didn't know whether I should do this video or not, but I had a few people say that they would really like to see it. So I wanted to chip in my 2 cents, and that is some LGBTQ plus fantasy recommendations. So because I am straight, so I don't really know how the authenticity of these books in terms of the representation is, so I'm gonna try and link an Own Voices review for every one of these books in the description. And also I tried to pick mostly Own Voices authors, but some of them aren't, I don't think, to my knowledge, but they're all still great books and you should check them out. So yeah, so I wanted to do some fantasy ones because I feel like often in the LGBTQ book recs videos you get a lot of contemporary, which is amazing and great, and obviously they should all be pushed as well, but as a fantasy lover I also like to see it in fantasy. So yeah, today's videos are going to be fantasy recommendations, and I tried to put a focus on adult fantasy as well, although some YA did sneak its way in there because I think often LGBTQ plus rep in adult fantasy is hard, well, not harder to find, but I think it's just a bit more not as easy to find, because I think YA books tend to get more hype on book Twitter and stuff, but I think there are some really great adult fantasy ones as well, so, and sci-fi actually so I wanted to include that here. And also I'm going to do a couple of books at the end of the video that I haven't actually read yet, but I really want to, and they're on my radar to read, so look out for those. So yeah, so I'm just going to get into the video. So the first one is Criers World by Nina Varela. So I actually read this it was the first book I read in 2020. And yeah, I just loved it so much. It was such a great book to start the year off with. And it's just, it's kind of this, so we're following this princess, Crier, I forgot her name then, even though it's in the title. And she is a automaton, I think that's what they're called. I might be remembering wrong. Yeah, and she's a princess as well. And she is going about her life and I think she's worried because she thinks she's got a faulty heart or something, so she's trying to kind of unravel a conspiracy around that. And then Ayla is a guard. She gets sent to infiltrate the palace. I think she's trying to assassinate Crier but then they kind of end up forming a friendship and then falling in love, which is so sweet. It's such a great enemies to lovers, slow burn, all the keywords. Yeah, and I think it's executed really well as well. And if you like the concept of The Shadows Between Us, which was another book that was quite hyped earlier this year, but didn't think the execution was too great, I would highly recommend Criers World, because I think that is a very similar concept, but it just does it so much better. And yeah, it's such a great book. There's so many, the characters are both so great, and yeah, I cannot wait for the sequel. So yeah, so that one. And then next we have Pryor with the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So this one is a chunky book, but despite having said that, I actually kind of wish it was longer, or split up into 2 books. But anyway, so this one is a dragon fantasy, and we are following Ede, who is she's like a handmaiden to the queen, and she's also protecting her from magical threats, but the queen doesn't actually know she's being protected. So we're sort of following their relationship, and that is a female-female relationship, so they do fall in love. And I don't know why I move my hands so much in videos. And then also we're following some other characters as well. So you have Tane, who is another character. She's in a different place. And also Loth, who is another character, and Nicolaus. So Nicolaus is also he's not in a relationship, but he is a gay man, and he's like the grumpy bitter alchemist, and he's old as well, which I think is really cool to see in a book, old age representation. I don't know, well, but no, I just think that it's good to have diversity in age of characters as well. And they're kind of trying to defeat, I think there's this big evil dragon that's rising. Yeah, so they're trying to defeat that, and there's also lots of political goings on as well. So yeah, so I really enjoyed this book. It's not one of my favourite books ever, but it's still really solid. I think I gave it 4 stars. I would also highly recommend the audiobook, because that's great as well if you're intimidated by it. The audiobook's fantastic, so yeah, I would highly recommend that one. So next is an author, like all her books are very diverse and inclusive in general, and that is N.K. Jemisin. So she has some great characters who are LGBTQ plus. So in The City We Became, one of the main characters, well, there's quite a few actually, the like New York avatar, I don't know if he has a name or if he's just called New York, but I believe he's gay. And then also Bronca, who is the like manifestation of the Bronx. She is I'm not sure if she's lesbian or bi actually, but she definitely loves women. So yeah, so she's great as well. She's like one of my favorite characters. She's so great. I don't think I'd read this when I did my favorite female characters video, but if I do a part 2, she'd definitely be in it. And yeah, so this one's a great book, and also her 5th season trilogy, I couldn't be bothered to get it out, but it's up there. That has some great representation as well. In book 1, there's a poly relationship actually, and one of the main characters, Alblaster, he's gay, and then there's also a bi man in the first one, and then I believe in the second or third one there's a female-female relationship as well. So yeah, that's great. I'm sure you've all heard what it's about. It's like the end of the world, I think. Like, yeah, the world keeps like ending and starting all over again, and then one time there's like this huge massive rift that's sort of like the end of the world to like end all worlds. And yeah, we're just following a character called Essen, who is trying to find her daughter. Yeah, so that one's great. And also her Inheritance trilogy as well. That one is very like, basically all the characters are bi in that one. And the kind of gods, they're bi. And also in the 3rd book, the main character, well, he's a demigod, I think he's a demigod, and yeah, he's bi as well. There's just a lot of representation in her book, so I'd recommend any of them. So yeah, but I think this one is my favourite of her books so far. So yeah. And then next we have The Never Tilting World by Rinch Pecco. So I know I like talk about this book in basically every video, but you should all read it. So yeah, so this one, we're following this world where it's like been split into like a cold half and a hot half. You can see that on the cover. And we're following 2 princesses, so one in each half, and we're kind of following them separately but like parallel, and they are trying to get to this like rift in the middle. And yeah, so the like cold princess, she keeps getting these bits of like prophecy, and she also has a relationship with her like bodyguard, so that's a female-female relationship. And it's also the like princess and the bodyguard trope, which I love. And then the princess and the hot half, that's a male-female relationship. But yeah, that's also great as well. It's like a Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff as well, so yeah, I really love that. And yeah, it's just very diverse in general, and it also has some good commentary on climate change, I think, in this book, which is really important. So I'd highly recommend this one. Okay, so then next is another like author I'm going to talk about, and that is Becky Chambers' books. So her books are very diverse, and these 2 both have such great female-female relationships. So this one, Rosemary and Sussex, I love them. They're so like supportive. And then this one has one of my like favourite relationships ever. It's just like old lesbian couple, and they're just so cute. They go on these, like, when they were little, I think they used to go on these like space shuttle rides, and then they go together like when they're all old, and oh, it's so cute, for like to like celebrate their anniversary or something. But yeah, and I believe this one also has a bisexual man as well as one of the main characters. There's quite a lot of like main characters, but yeah. So yeah, they're just very inclusive. I'm sure there's a gender like fluid or non-binary character in one of them. It might be this one. I should do some more research on that one. Yeah, I'll leave that in the description. Yeah, these books are just so heartwarming, and they'll just make your heart like so happy. And also, To Be Taught If Fortunate, I believe has a trans character and an asexual character as well, so lots of good representation in these. But yeah, her books were just, they're like, I don't know, eating chocolate on your period. No, they give you that just kind of like really heartwarming feeling, and yeah, they just make you believe in humanity. So I'd highly recommend them. So the next is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Monk. So I said some YA would sneak its way in here. But yeah, we also have Never Tilting World. Oh well, just more great books to read. So yeah, so this one's really great. This one's a bit more serious and deals with some quite heavy topics. But we're following Lei, who is she's called a paper girl, and she's been sent to this like court of the king, the god king. And yeah, and she's with like a concubine basically, and she's in this like harem of women, and they all like get sent to the demon king to have sex with him basically, and they are being raped. And it's sort of about her kind of coming to terms with that, and she also falls in love with one of her fellow concubines, and yeah, their relationship is really sweet. So that's female, and yeah, so I just love seeing their like relationship, and also its development in Girls of Storm and Shadow as well, because I think it's not just like easy breezy. I think they do have some issues and they do need to talk about it, and I think hopefully it's gonna get resolved in book 3. But yeah, I think that's just a nice kind of depiction of a relationship, so yeah, I would highly recommend that one. So next is The True Queen by Zen Chow. So this is a sequel to Sorcerer of the Crown. So I have Sorcerer of the Crown. I don't actually own The True Queen like physically. I listened to it on audio, but it was so good. And I think I enjoyed The True Queen even more than this one. I think I maybe gave this one like 3.75 and then The True Queen like 4.5 stars. But yeah, it's like set in sort of an alternative Victorian England, but there's loads of like magic, and there's like the fairy world, and you also have these sorcerers, and it's just a bit chaotic really. I think there's a dragon. But yeah, this one has the main character is, there's a main female relationship, and then there's also a side male relationship as well. And yeah, it's just great. There's so much going on. I can't quite remember the plot. I'm such a bad booktuber, honestly. But yeah, if you sort of like Victorian England style, like almost Austen type romance, then yeah, I think you really like it. So the main character is Sancti Muna. She wakes up, or just Muna, she wakes up, and I don't think she has any memories of what's happened to her, and she's trying to work out what's happened, so she kind of meets various characters as that goes on. So yeah, so that's a very basic summary of the plot. But yeah, it's great. So next up we have one that I actually read. Well, I haven't quite finished it yet when I'm filming this. I might have finished it by the time the video goes up. But that is City of Strife. So I'd never really heard of this one, but I saw Kitty G mention it on her channel, and it sounded really good, and it's great. It's like the definition of that like thing that's like be gay, do crime, because if you're watching this, yeah, unite them name. But yeah, so yeah, just basically all the characters are LGBTQ plus. It just has like every kind of representation you could imagine. Yeah, and it's just them getting up to like mischief in the city. Yeah, I haven't actually got to the end, so I don't really know kind of exactly where the plot's going. But yeah, there's like conspiracies abound, and it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that one. And then next had to sneak its way on here. So that is Jade City by Fonda Lee. So I love this book so much. And there's kind of what I would consider 4 main characters, and one of them is gay. And in the second book he is in a relationship a bit, but this is just such a great book. It's like a kind of like Peaky Blinders, like mafia family, and yeah, Jade is like this hot commodity, and there's 2 clans, and they're competing for control of the jade in this country basically. And yeah, it's just great. So you should read it. There's lots of like political going on, and yeah, it's just everything I love in a book basically. So yeah, I would highly recommend that one. And then finally is Amberlow. So I'd highly recommend the audiobook for this one actually. That the audiobooks are great. And this one we're following is kind of like it's like an alternative world, but it feels kind of like New York City, like spy, like kind of 1920s 1930s style. So we're following the spy, and then also like a burlesque dancer, I think it's burlesque, and this other character who I don't really know what he does. He's a dancer, but he's like, I don't know, he's a personality. Yeah, so this one has a male relationship, and it's just really great. Like if you like spy dramas, but like it's almost a thriller, but it's kind of fantasy as well. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this one. The audiobooks are great. So now I'm just going to talk briefly about some books that are on my radar, which I would like to get to soon. So the first one is a memory called Empire. So this one was kindly sent to me by the wonderful Nicole from Nicole and Her Books for my birthday. So yes, thank you so much again, Nicole. But yeah, I believe this one's a sci-fi, and I think it's a sci-fi murder mystery actually, which is super exciting. I believe this one also has a female-female relationship, so I'm excited to get to that one. The Tiger's Daughter, which I've heard is like a fantasy. It sounds good. I saw it. Jessie May on her channel, she'd reviewed it and thought it was really good, and she's one of my favourite channels, so if she thought it was good, then I'm gonna read it. So yeah, so that's also female-female romance. And then when I was doing some research for this video, I also came across Fortuna, which I don't know much about, but I believe it's sci-fi and apparently has lots of disaster vibes, so I love a good chaotic disaster of a character. So yeah, so I'm excited for that one. And also finally, so Silver in the Wood, so I saw Michael talk about this on his channel and it sounded really good. So yeah, this one's just kind of, it sounds a bit creepy, almost like a bit of like a foresty thing. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. So yeah, so there's just some little ones on my radar. So yeah, so that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend checking out my other video which I did, which puts together some recommendations from LGBTQ plus booktubers. So yeah, definitely listen to them and shout about them and go and subscribe to all of them. So yeah, I'll link that video up here and also in the description. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.